disenfranchised youth who are trying to find themselves, similar to what we've seen today. And then that lack of guidance, the whole thing, human trafficking has a larger gap than what we would like to acknowledge in many cases. And so this whole month, we celebrate women it is time to recognize the strength that is in our women. Ultimately, the inequality that we face is all around us. We need to be celebrating ourselves as a hope for change. And this is the chance for us this month. And I take it, throughout the year, that there is always an opportunity for us to shine. I don't want you to be discouraged, Jeanette. I don't want you to be discouraged. I don't want anyone to be confused. We definitely know that the devil is strong in these places today, and the powers and principalities, and the war is ongoing, and it's a never-ending war. There's always someone out there looking to gain or game the system. But what we do want to make sure is that we bring forth the positivity of what this month actually means, because it is bringing us closer to closing that gender gap. And the more women that are stepping out on faith and taking their stand and moving forward. We watch Hidden Figures, right here, the NASA story. And often, you find it funny that she was running down to, to a couple of blocks away to go to the restroom. But that's not funny anymore, right? Because you think, oh, well, that was then. Well, it's similar things are happening now. I always say it's the same stuff, just a different cover. Same book, different cover. And we have to continuously shed light on those things that are holding us back as a society. Women should not be considered property. We should not be treated as property. And it is also a need to continue to elevate laws that help equalize the gap that we have experienced and have fought for many 50 plus years now to bring, an encouragement to the accomplishments of women. So I just want to give you an opportunity to speak also to your perspective of how your individual organizations are changing the ground truths today. So anyone want to go first? I'll let you have the floor. All right. Looks like Ms. Hewitt, you've been pointed out.
I'm sure that was Miss Darlene pointing me out. She is determined to make me a public speaker. Okay, so and honestly, mental health is my passion, is what I do, and it's who I am. However, I'm more of the background person. See, I'm the one that's in the back, cutting up, and y'all got to put me out because I'm making too much noise, and I didn't realize that my voice carried to the front. That's who I am, but she's determined to bring me to the front. So, ANEW CARE is how we are changing the community is doing just that, being in the community, and I have to give Miss Wood a lot of credit for bringing that piece out, because ANEW CARE was simply me for the first maybe 5 years of its existence. It was just me, doing mental health and serving families just by myself, and then bringing people on gradually, and then now bringing the PRP piece on. And I'm really seeing the vision and seeing how impactful the outreach piece is, and how it connects and ties to mental health, and how essential it is. I mean, you literally can't have one without the other. Just like mental health is very, very huge, in that people weren't giving it the credence it deserved, because they feel like, just like the doctor said, I can put your arm under a microscope and see, okay, this is happening and this is happening, but we can't do that. We can't put your brain under, put your head under a microscope and say, hey, there's anxiety here, there's depression. We have to hear it. So, but the other part of it is mental health and physical health go hand in hand. If one is not right, the other is not going to be right. That's not going to be a whole person. And all of that's the person in the inside. If we can remember, it's been a long time, so I'm about to date myself and I'm going to get it wrong. But those, what is it, Venn diagrams? So, you're trying to put the whole person, but it's all these different components that stick out. So it's the the community, the outreach, the doctors, everybody plays a part in strengthening the mental health and the physical health of the whole person. And it does, that's what we're missing, that community. Because what was it back in my day? And I know I'm 50, so I come from an adage where anybody can snatch you up and discipline you. Those days are gone, but we need to bring them back, because it takes the village to develop the village.
And you're absolutely right. And, we grew up saying that as like an old age antic, it takes a village, but you're absolutely correct. None of us are doing this alone. And that's really the heart and soul, and what encouraged me to launch this community forum tonight, is to make sure that we understand that this village is grown. It's extensive. Our poverty levels are growing every day. The extreme poverty that is facing us right now, with so many who lost their jobs during COVID, who silently, attend various food drives. And that's something I just want to give a major shout out to Prince George's County, because their Prince George's feed program, the food banks are fantastic, have done a phenomenal job for the last 2 years, working with, local farmers, and working with, all of the various agencies to make sure that there was fresh fruits and vegetables and produce in various boxes. The Stand and Deliver program has delivered, pounds and pounds of, valuable, nutritious food to ensure our communities thrive. And that's something that County Executive Angela Alsobrook, another phenomenal woman, has put out on the ground for our communities, because, one of the things that I was told by several of our community leaders is that, there are children in our communities, in our schools right now, who are homeless, who come to school, and right now haven't really eaten. And if you can't eat, you can't learn. And that's a true statement. And so for us to now have, a county that's taken this head on to ensure every week, every day, First Baptist Church of Glenarden, for example, is pushing out boxes upon boxes. Hyattsville is pushing out boxes upon boxes. We're all pushing boxes. Our community, gave out about 500 pounds of food ourselves. So we're trying very hard to end the suffering, the malnutrition, et cetera, that's happened. And I do want to acknowledge the Prince George's County School Board for what they have done as far as the food lunches. Right now, nobody pays for lunches. It's almost like it was when we all came through school, right? So now I will say something for the amount of nutrition that's in the food, but at least they're ensuring that a square meal is given, as well as, once upon a time they were giving end of day snacks. So before everyone left, they got a sack to come home. And that's kind of what we want to look at, is these things that help us change our community. Few people can make a big difference, and stomping out childhood hunger is one of those that is a worthy avenue for not just our county, but for our state to even take on. And I do want to acknowledge, the American Rescue Plan foundations and monies that they have pushed out into our communities, which are also helping to decrease the amount of negative community impact that has happened following the COVID-19 pandemic. Ms. Darlene, if you can talk to what your partnership is doing and how it is actually changing the ground truth, if you will, for teaching and enriching and uplifting with DSW and Associates.
So what we do is we do partner with, we have contracts with mental health companies in DC, Maryland, and as far as North Carolina. And so when we do the education part, which falls under teaching, we definitely teach our young children to start a spirit of entrepreneurship. We teach them that it's okay to say I need help. We do some mentoring and tutoring with them as well. Um, We also educate, our young girls on how to become young ladies.
Mm-hmm.
We do the same with our young guys. We have a few family service coordinators on board with us, and what they do is they are able to spend at least 2 to 3 times a week with their clients, who could be children or adults, and just help them with any life-changing thing that they need help with. Some people need help with jobs. Believe it or not, we still have people who can't read or write. We have people
Mm-hmm.
who are 25 and 26 who have not completed high school.
Mm-hmm.
And so therefore they don't even know how to apply for health insurance, Medicaid insurance. So we help them to do that as well. But we also build community outreach. This coming Sunday, we're doing a food giveaway, um, partnering with another company to do a food giveaway, because I believe information is important, and they're not going to come to us for the information. And so we go to them, to try to make sure we get the information to them to help them complete school, to
Mm-hmm.
help them to get jobs, to get housing, and to get up on their feet, and to talk to someone about their credit situation. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people talk a lot about life coaches, and that might be fine, but when you're in a situation where you have nothing, you're living in your car, a life coach is going to go completely over your head. You need someone there at your level to be able to communicate with you with where you are right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my passion is, I literally wake up and go to sleep with this on my heart, because growing up, as Miss Hewitt hit on, it was the village.
Mm-hmm.
What I do today is a result of the village. From growing up in church, for people who did for us. My parents split up when I was 10, which is weird, even though, when my mom died, I was 22, and my own grandmother didn't know my parents were divorced, because of the relationship that they maintained for our family. And so I really appreciate that. But they taught us, give back to the community and do things in the community. So that's been ingrained in me. It's the same thing I teach my son. You can't get to a certain place and think it's okay to be there and don't bring someone else with you. We can't do that. We have to reach back, walk with, lead to the resources that are available. And people don't know about it. Closed mouths don't get fed. And so if they don't know what's going on, they don't know the help is out there. And so what we do is make sure we go out in the streets and let people know that we're here. We link them with different mental health companies or different organizations to help them get the help that they need.
Thank you for doing that. That is fantastic. And and the most important thing that we can do is resources. Expand the network so that we have the resources, ready resources available. There is so much out there, and so little is known collectively about how to be of service and help. So I'm going to ask the same question to you, Dr. Fields. If you can bring on and talk to us about how you're encouraging the integrity and honesty at every level.
Right. And so that is actually our slogan. The name of the organization is RESA Incorporated, which is twofold, because RESA, the acronym, stands for Rise, Elevate, Soar, Aspire, all things moving upward. And it is the last 4 letters of my late grandmother's name. Her name was Teresa. I have been through many schools, but she was the one that taught me everything that I needed to know about servant leadership. So that's how the organization was named. And Queen Darlene just referred to one of her favorite quote, closed mouth don't get fed. And so one of her other favorite would be, one hand cannot clap, which leads to where I'm going with this. As organizations, we got to come together and, to make a stronger community impact. I remember last July, I partnered with the First Baptist of Capitol Heights. And it was a very hot day, and like a lot of people did not attend, but what we have there was over 30 nonprofit organizations that hardly knew each other existed. So it turned out to be more of a resource fair than it was what we intended it for it to be. But that was okay, because that was much needed. Now, RESA Incorporated, we provide an array of services, including several drives, whether it is clothing, food, all that good stuff. We have done scholarship fundraisers. We have done several virtual events to include domestic violence and mental health. And so our newest initiative is our Right Now program. And it is, as it says, right now. So what, I don't have a transitional housing. I don't have a house to say this is transitional housing. But again, you got to get creative. You can't just sit there. You got to make it happen, you know? And so what we've done, we've created the Right Now program where whenever we get a call, because it's not a if, it's whenever we get a call for women and girls who may be in immediate danger due to domestic or sexual violence, we're able to get them to a hotel for overnight stay. And we also provide transportation, Uber, Lyft, train ride, whatever it is that they need to get them to that place of safety where from there they can sit there and figure out the next move. So we have the Right Now program, and that helped them to get to a safe place to figure out the next move, because sitting around trying to figure out, you know, the next move, you may not be here to live that next move. So that is our newest initiative, and it's about a year old, because I've been sitting there waiting, hoping that somebody would donate a house and all that fancy stuff. I said, you know what, enough is enough. I gotta do what work. And so that's how we've been able to help others. So we have been incorporated since 2016, and we may not have the big offices, the big office or the grant money for that matter, but with donations that are, you know, from families and friends and people that donated stuff, we are making huge impact in the community. We really are making our mark, helping and collaborating and just blessing each other as we come across these needs. So that's pretty much RESA in a nutshell. But we're just getting started. 2016, we're just getting started. And I know that we have a lot more to do. And so to come to a platform such as this with other powerful movers and shakers, I just know that it's gonna be done. It is well, we're gonna get there. And it's a pleasure to be in your company tonight. And yes, just in case you're wondering, this beautiful accent is from Jamaica, West Indies.
I did want to ask. I wanted to ask.
You know, I'm Jamaican, man.
He's American, right? I wanted to
I'm Jamaican. I love Jamaica.
Real, and I'm my tie. I'm gonna just keep it 100.
Isn't it beautiful? I see your hand, Darlene.
And so, Dr. Fields, I have a question for you. When you say you don't have the big offices, again, with Ms. Hewitt's permission, I'm going to ask the question, but do you need office space? We have a huge conference room. We just expanded. And as we picked out this space, we kept looking around at like, okay, yeah, we have enough space. We just got the keys on Monday, and we have a lot of space. We have a huge conference room that is available. Again, we're trying to, it still does take a village. So what you don't have, then Ms. Hewitt and I will definitely make sure if you need some classroom space, if you need, we have a conference room there, and we have access to a conference room across the parking lot because we have, we're in the building. So those things are just a simple phone call away.
And that would be great, because before the pandemic, I partnered with Industrial Bank. You guys may or may not know Miss Jacqueline Bowles with Industrial Bank. And they had us using their conference room. We were doing this relationship building series. But then, of course, after the pandemic, they have since moved, no longer have access to upstairs in that particular building where they have the bank. So now we really don't have like a place per se where we can really come and invite people to come. And this is what we're doing here this week, this month. Come on out and get the great information. So pretty much right now, it's like virtual is like my best bet right now, which we all know. Sometimes you got to rub elbows with the people in need to encourage them, because some people are all virtualed out. And I know that's not even a real word, but we're about to be virtualed out. So having, the ability to get back to, especially since some of these mandates are being lifted, where we can, okay, we're going to have a toiletry drive. We're going to have a clothing drive. Having the space to do that is definitely important for us and to us and for the community at large. So I welcome any assistance, any supports you can give. Please, yes, let us know.
I'm going to tell you, I love what just happened right there. I love it. Thank you, ANEW CARE. Thank you, DSW Associates. This is what it's about, right? We just talked about it takes a community, and we have a community of beautiful, excited, involved, excellent women who have now just made a connection for a new woman who's coming on the scene who needed something, and we didn't know that until this meeting. So this is more of what we want to do in the community. We want to expand the network. We want to make the network also work for the network. And I thank you both so much for what you've just done right there. And Dr. Fields and I had been talking about putting together a program and places and spaces and where we could do it. I will tell you, I acknowledge that each and every one of your missions is larger than one city. Your missions go global. You've got big missions here. And I really want to tell you, I am so proud and pleased to know each one of you. And I thank you for what just happened right there. That's what it's about, helping to make that reach and bridge the gap. We've bridged the gap. So, and I like that. And that's something that we often talk about, we have to stand together. We have to unite, not just only as a people, as a gender, but as community leaders. This mission that we have before us is not a light one, and it's not an easy one. It's often an unseen one. It's often an unspoken one. And it's often one that's tearing not only the very fabric of our families, but society apart. And it's something that you cannot name it. If you are addicted to drugs, you can see that. What we're talking about, mental health and illnesses, those are struggles that are internal that we don't always see. And it takes a nurturing spirit. It takes the spirit of discernment. It takes a praying woman, as they say, to have those things exposed. And my mother always told me, you see something, you say something. And when you say something, you do something. Because words without actions is dead. Mm-hmm. And I thank each one of you. I see you've come back on, Miss Brandon. Your other meeting's over. I'm going to tell you, that is a busy woman right there. So we're going through and we're talking about the individual organizations and what you've got planned next. So if you want to talk to us about some next level stuff, I know you've got tons of irons in the fire.
Okay. Whew. I'm sorry, you guys. And we were on a meeting with PG Changemakers, campaign meetings, and how everybody doing? Please, sorry. I'm so sorry if I seem disengaged, but Darlene, thank you for reminding me. I knew of the meeting, but for some reason I had this meeting thinking it was tomorrow, and I didn't put it on my calendar, but I really appreciate you, Darlene, for reminding me, because I wouldn't have missed it for the world, but I had to go to the first meeting that I had, which was with Crystal and the campaign and the PG Changemakers. So we got a number of things coming.
We got you now. We're ready to hear from you now.
Last night, I just wanted to start off with saying that Dr. Fields, we surprised Mayor Cross last night with the honorary plaque from the community. Darlene was present, came from the chief of Maryland Park and Planning Police, myself. I put it together in 2 days. I heard about some attacks that were coming on her, and we bind that devil. That's not going to take place. That's just not going to happen in my role, not on my watch. And when I hear stuff going, people that I care about, people that I believe in, I'm not going to fight for you if I don't believe in you. And I don't know if you know me, Dr. Fields, and I'm going to say it just as bluntly as I always speak. I have no cut cards at all with anybody, from the top officials to the bottom, none. And if you're not right, I'm going to call you out. whether it's social media, standing outside. If I'm standing at the podium beside you and you stand up at that podium and you tell a lie, I'm gonna look at you and say, that wasn't true. I don't really care. And Mayor Cross, I met her one time. Wasn't even supposed to meet her. And I believed in her. And when she shared a phone call with me last week, or might have been this week, it's been bothering my spirit ever since. And I called Sergeant Charles and I said, something has to be done and I need you to partner with me ASAP. Not today, not tomorrow, ASAP. So we pulled it together. He got I asked him, I said, you go get this plaque made. I called Darlene. I sent some messages out, LaTasha Ward, Belinda Queen, and we came together 2 days and we made it happen. I was telling lies to her, and I, Lord, forgive me for the lies, but we was telling some lies. She didn't even know that that was me talking to her husband on the phone. She came downstairs. She said, who are you talking to? He said, some friends. I said, oh, Jesus Christ, here we go, Lord have mercy. I was talking to him and I had Sergeant Charles talking to her. So we was crisscross. He had no clue. And I said, Lord Jesus, what are we going to do? I said, just tell her friends. So I heard him say, oh, just talking to some friends. I said, Lord, get her back upstairs. And I'm on the phone. I'm typing Sergeant Charles saying, get her back upstairs. We was trying to maneuver. But we surprised her. We told her we needed her to meet with the young man that run the rec down there, because we knew anything that was going to try her in the community was going to get her to that rec. So we knew that, because we knew that about her. So Dr. Phil, she came in that place not expecting nothing for herself. She came in there expecting to do some work for somebody else. And we rallied together and gave her that plaque, balloons, and some cupcakes. And I was just babbling on. And then I just switched over to her and said, well, let me just tell you about who really came. And I left my job yesterday because I suffer chronic migraines. Mm-hmm. And I left work yesterday early because I had blurry vision. I couldn't see. And I went home and took some meds and got back up out of my bed to go back to honor her, because I believe in her, and I believe in the dreams and goals that she has. And she reminds me of me when I started off down the bottom and nobody believed in me. And the only thing I got to tell you, Mayor Cross, is to keep fighting, and your light gonna shine. It's gonna shine because you can't give up. No weapon. And I started where you are, and they put me down. I won't doing this right. But when God is in it, they can't touch you. Just keep fighting. Look on the board. You got people around you that's going to fight for you. And I told you, when the PG Changemakers get involved, there ain't a whole lot they can do about it.
Well, let me tell you, I appreciate everything. And y'all, they did. They shocked my socks off, as they say. I came in there, and whenever I'm with Miss Brandon, I'm expecting to do some work, right? So my husband, he didn't know how to quite tell me what to wear. So I said, all right. He said, well, where are we going? I said, well, I wear some jeans, some sweatpants. What we got to do? He said, well, just dress how you dress. You dress good anyway. So I said, okay, that doesn't make sense. And then I looked at how he was dressed, and I said, well, I can't go in with no sweatpants on, because he had a nice polo shirt, nice, button-up shirt. I said, well, button-up shirt obviously means no sweatpants. So I do want to thank you. I'm typically not one that is, there in that area, in that spotlight. I like to make sure that everyone else gets what they need, right? This is a community thing. This is about heart. And as a woman, we are the image, if you will, we are the image of hope. We are the image of determination. When I think of women, those are the words that come to my mind: hope and determination. Because we always have had to face that gender gap, hope. And we have always had to strive harder, determination. So hope and determination. And that's the message of this month: hope and determination. And that's what we're talking about. We were honored to be put on the Hope and Action Task Force, myself and Ms. Brandon, and from the County Executive also, Brooke. And one of the issues was youth disenfranchisement. And so if you think about that word disenfranchisement, I mean, the very first three letters is disunity, dysfunction, disjunction, and it's time for us as a community to stop dissing our community. It is time for us to franchise our community. It's time for us to enfranchise, not disenfranchise. It is time for us to build community value and strength. Every woman, man, gender, non-specific has purpose. And that's really what we're talking about here in this phone call is purpose. How do we find those roles in our communities and help individuals that may not be there yet, but may be striving to reach that level of success? Because it is written, once you have that purpose, then your treasures start to build, the value that you have. And I look forward to, every day arising and looking for ways in which God can help me create equality amongst men and women. He didn't have any respective person. And as I've heard there from Jeanette, neither does she and neither do we. We respect all humanity. And I believe that we have an ability to change this world. And that's why it is so important that, we have God's hands in all of what we do, his redemptive plan for mankind. We talked about our images earlier today. Even that has a redemptive plan. I mentioned it on last night, but my people who are called by my name shall turn from their wicked ways. Then we shall hear from the Father. It is so easy for humanity to go down the road of crooked and wicked, but it is so indispensably part of God's redemptive plan. And I like how Jeanette always tells me there is no testimony without a test. And I can tell every woman on this line has had their fair share of tests. And today I say, you got an A. Today I say we passed that test. Today I say we go forward by God's grand design. We have each a specific story. Every woman does. Past, present, lifelong lovers, followers of vision, mission, our paths, crooked, not necessarily straight all the time, have led us to the opportunity. And that's what I call it, opportunity to change lives. Dr. Fields, I see your hand.
Oh, I was gonna comment behind Ms. Jeanette. Like I met Mayor Cross less than a month ago. I was scrolling through Facebook and I came across, and I paused and I was looking at, something she posted, and I went to her profile and I just realized that she's so involved in the community. And so I messaged her and said, you're doing some great works in the community. I would definitely love to get to know more about what you do. And that is how we really got started. Like I said, it's less than a month ago, but we did make it. We have met in person at the President's Day parade we had for the motorcade. That was my first one, so I'm probably getting it all wrong. But anyway, we met and she was just a breath of fresh air. And I just know that this is someone I want to collaborate with, someone I want to rub elbows with, because it's all about making an impact, making a difference in the community. And when you see the person that is going to make that difference, you will know. Because as long as you are about the same thing that she's about, you're going to know that spirit is going to click and you will know that you're in the right place. And that's what is happening to me right now. So I'm so glad to be in your presence, and now with my other three other queens that I just met tonight. So yes, we are going to continue to, make an impact, create greatness in the community.
Thank you for that. And I will say we have another queen in the midst of us, LaTasha Ward. Queen Ward, actually the founder, executive director of the Solid Foundation, actually is right now in the midst of a training session with her incarcerated individuals who are returning to society, where she is actually teaching them social skills, economic business skills. And I talked to you earlier about having an opportunity to basically set on as a panel, and they gave me their business features. So they gave me the business pitch, and I was able to then, from hearing each pitch, give them the understanding of how I received it, you know, not just as a mayor, but as if I was an employer. Collective Impact is my LLC. So if I was hiring them for collective impact, then how would Collective Impact view that pitch? And I'm going to tell you, it was so just enlightening, not just for them, but for me. You know, because we really have to understand you're never too old, never too young to learn how the world is changing. And if you take someone who's been incarcerated and now they're out, how many years have passed and how the world changes? You know, one of the things as I've talked to individuals that are now out and making their way in the world, you know, is they were able to see the world change around them, you know, but when you got out, it was kind of like this whole new place, like you were in a foreign land. And so it is so important the work that she's doing. So I just want to acknowledge, as you call them, Queen. I like that. Queen Ward, who wasn't able to join back in following our episode earlier today. I've actually locked this meeting. So, but I just wanted to acknowledge her efforts in the community. And I see your hand there, Ms. Woods, please.
Yeah, so I have a question for Dr. Fields. You were at the municipal center on the 21st, correct?
I was.
So we had a conversation.
You know what? I was thinking about it. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
We
that's
sure
exactly.
enough did.
Yes. I still have your information. Yeah.
Yes.
As soon as you said that, I thought we had a conversation. And I was like, well, don't forget to call me. You kept saying, I'm not going to forget to call you because
yes.
at that day she was speaking about merging ANEW CARE with Mayor Cross with her. And wow, look at God. That's amazing.
Yes. It kind of dawned on me after a while. I'm like, wait a minute, is that her? But you know, I was so excited. My level of anxiety and excitement was up for the motorcade because I've never been in a motorcade before. So I was on cloud 9 that entire day. But I was like, wait a minute, was she at that event? So yes, we have talked and we will continue to talk, right?
And Dr. Fields, Ms. Brandon, Jeanette actually was the organizer, if you will, the car liner upper. So you saw her out there that day as well. And LaTasha Ward, LaTasha, who was, you know, unfortunately able to join us back in, is the brainchild behind that event, which did, you know, organize a district, essentially, you know, across this county. How many cars was there? Almost 80, right? 75 to 80?
It was a total of 72 in that one and 63 in the one that I did the week behind.
Fantastic.
Okay, awesome.
And each one of these, and it's so beautiful because when you think about a motorcade and you think about, you know, the vision and what it means, the very idea of just unity, right? I always say you can't have a train without a caboose. So these motorcades essentially are taking us into the future. I love what they stand for. And we all unite together. We drive together. We ride together. You know, as they always say, ride or die, you know, we stand together. And it is so important that we continue to provide that strength in our communities, that we can, you know, build that trust and that unity. And we talked about bringing our communities back together. You know, one thing COVID did for us, separated us. It separated us gender, not specific to gender, but it separated us as a people. And one of the fights, you know, my fight has been on to bring our communities out, bring us back together safely amidst this pandemic. You know, one thing I can always say, I've never walked into Wegmans and had a basket line free of traffic. People are going to go where they have to go, you know, But what we do have to continue to do, and this is in line with your business, Ms. Hewitt, is to bring that mental health and wellness back. You know, bring our communities back to the importance of fellowship, you know, and I know you can speak clearly to what fellowship means to people in general.
Absolutely. The fellowship, and especially the virtual, worked for what it did what it needed to do for the pandemic, and you know, the mental health was able to get across. It was able to be done. But even still, it's nothing like sitting across from someone and really not just seeing the faces, but feeling the aura. And by the way, I was at the President's Day thing too. Miss Wood fussed at me because I was working that day, because I work a little too much. So I was on the other side and I was late. She was mad at me, so I got a little verbal beating, but I was working. Just so you know. But because of the passion, because I actually was going to take off that day, but I was like, my clients want to meet. It's not like I'm doing anything else. So I'm going to meet with them, go to this, and then go home, meet with some other clients, because that's just what I do. But, and that's just the meat of what mental health is. It's just getting it out, getting it across. And I think that's the main reason why, you know, I have to do the work that I do, because so many people don't have the outlet to get off their chest, get off their mind, get off their heart, everything that they're going through. Life is happening all the time. Two things don't stop: time and life. They just don't. Life is going to happen until your life has stopped, but time is going to keep on. That's the one thing. What my grandfather used to say: all you got to do is stay here. You're going to get old. You know, things going to stop working. All you got to do is stay here. So as long as we're here, you know, we need to do as much as we can to get as much as we can. Again, it takes the village, but it also takes the networking. It also takes the, you know, getting the pride out the way, and acknowledging what it is you need, what it is you want, what it is you like to do, and asking for the help, and getting that help, and accepting it. And I mean, I think we all had that cross to bear at one point. Like you said, no testimony without a test, no cross, no crown. So again, in order to crown, you gotta carry that cross. So
exactly.
What I guess the passion for me is, I see myself in each and every one of my clients. If I haven't gone through it, I know somebody who's gone through it. I've gone through it, so I can tell you that there is another side. There is a bright side to it. I'm that living witness. So that's the importance of fellowship, and just what the old folks say: touch it in the green.
Exactly.
I'm dating myself. I'm showing y'all how old I am. But you know, that touch and the green is very, very important. It's very, and that's the thing that COVID took away. Not the ability to feel, because I'm very spirit oriented, and that's the one thing, Miss Mayor Cross. I've seen you, and the first thing, I think it was the Martin Luther King Day, and I told Darlene, I said, my goodness, she got a lot of energy, because I'd have been gassed out by now, but you were full the entire day. I was like, I like that. I mean, you were every time. I don't know if you took a breath, took a drink or something. I don't know. But when you got on that microphone, you was like, and here we go with this. I was like, okay, I like it, because she keeping me awake, because I'm tired. So I love the spirit. I absolutely love the spirit. And that's what keeps me, because I told you I'm a background person, but Miss Wood is determined to make me frontline. I'm still going to sneak back in the back, but you know.
Listen, I thank you all so much for your diligence, for your commitment this evening to this community forum. I think it has been just beautiful. We've made a connection. We've given opportunities. We've grown, even in this call, you know, a resource outlet. And I just want to put, you know, I always have to put a verse on it. So today I'm going to put Proverbs 31:26. Proverbs 31:26. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and teaching of kindness is on her tongue. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and teaching of kindness is on her tongue. That is something that I'm going to say from this point forward. That's the light that we stand in. We will stand in that light of wisdom. And when we teach, we will teach with kindness. You know, and that's something that the world is lacking right now. Everyone is in such a hurry, so rough, so bruff, so Billy Gruff rough. but it is time for us to teach in kindness so that it can be received. The way that we say things sometimes impacts how it is received. And many folks, take that to the nth degree. You can always be misunderstood. And it's always better to say, when you've misunderstood someone, say, you may not have meant it this way, but this is how it came to me. And that's a communication skill. We have lost that communication skill. Back in the day, it's like, hey, what you mean by that? It's really quick. But now it's almost like you're fearful to say, hey, what you mean by that? Because it could end your life, or it could, end in something that you didn't want, get cursed out or something. But I mean, there is a level of kindness that has to come back to our tongue. So I just put Proverbs 31 and 26 on it. I saw Darlene, your hand first, and then we'll go to Jeanette.
And so I want to piggyback off of what Tam said. Mayor Cross, she definitely did tell me. She said she's got a lot of energy, but before I met you, even on the Zoom calls, I reached out to Miss Hewitt and I told her, I said, oh no, Mayor Cross is it. I mean, everything that we've been involved in, that you have been the leader of, your energy level. But I still have to say that even behind the scenes, and sometimes brought to the forefront, Jeanette is definitely someone that gets it done as well. So this group, just this 5 women right here, is a powerful group of women. And as Ms. Hewitt and I like to say, when we interview people for positions, we work hard, but we sure play harder. And we do it together. We do it together. Our families know each other. You know, my husband is a great supporter. Her husband's a great supporter. It's about time we dispel that theory that black people can't work together, especially black women.
Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, yes. And that's the topic too. Jeanette?
Okay. Hi, y'all again. I'm always enthused, y'all. Even I'm actually home supposedly on bed rest until Monday. Notice I
No.
said supposedly. I'm never gonna be on bed rest, y'all. I'm being honest. So I've been trying to, I shared this with Darlene earlier. I have been trying to work out a deal or partner with, my whole theory is bridge the gap. I have been, that is my title base, bridge the gap. Because we have so many people and we witness it tonight. I'm not going to be Darlene's friend because Dr. Fields is Darlene's friend and I don't like Dr. Fields. I'm not going to be I'm not going to support Mayor Cross because I don't like Tam and Tam supports me. We have got to stop this nonsense. And we have got to start supporting, period. And that is why I've been focused on bridging the gap. I do a lot of bridging the gap events. And that tells me who's really out here for the title or who's out here for the work. I made a post on social media a couple of weeks ago and said, stop judging me for my name and judge me for my work. My mom used to tell me all the time before she left this world, may the work I've done speak for me. And I want to be like my mom when she leave here. I want my work to speak its own eulogy. I don't need nobody up there trying to find words to say about me. I want my own word to speak. I said that to say we got a lot of things going on, and I've been working my butt off trying to get a gap built between DC, Maryland, and Virginia. When I tell you this, Darlene, today, I think it was this morning, sometime this afternoon today, I got that gap filled. And I cried, I screamed, I yelled, I called Darlene. I was so excited. I probably yelled Darlene's ears slam off her face. I called my godmother. I called a Danville. I got that gap halfway built. On Saturday, from 10 to 1. And yes, I'm excited. I have been requested by Mayor Miriam Bowser to sit at a roundtable meeting discussion with her and some of her, I'm trying to keep calm, some of her constituents to discuss some possibilities of some events that's going to bridge the gap with some of DC and PG County.
Oh, yes. Yes.
For me, it's exciting.
It's exciting.
For somebody else, it may not mean anything. But because I do know that I have a gift to gab, I'm going to gab her right on over in here so we can gab together. Because there are some things that PG County can bridge out with DC, and there are some things that DC may need to bridge the gap with PG County. And if we can continue to merge these two places together, we will be able to serve all of these residents. There are things that we do that DC don't do. There are things that DC do that we don't do. We need ideas on both ends. And now I'm reaching out to Virginia. And I'm going to continue until we can get where we need to be. With that being said, if you guys can make some dates on the 12th. Oh, wait a minute. That's when I meet with Mary Bowser. Wait a minute. I'm trying to give y'all some dates. On the 18th, is it? The 19th. Sorry. I'm getting it together. So on the 20th, we had to stand with Black women. Mayor Cross, check your messages. I sent you a message tonight while we were on the call. We would like for you to be one of the speakers. Darlene, I think we asked you, Dr. Fields, if you would like to be one of the speakers, you can let me know. And this is just this is our third annual Stand with Black Women. We held in Capitol Heights. And you have 5 minutes to speak. Stand with Black women. And it's just about recognizing Black women. It's most of the time it's televised. It's pretty big. I've reached out to WHUR, Mayor Cross, if you can, send some of your good Comcast people out there. And we need people to know that we are in this fight here. On top of that, we have some more stuff going on. On April the 3rd, Get Out the Vote, the GOTV, that's my organization. So on April the 3rd, we have our first Get Out the Vote to push people to get out to vote. That would be held at Creative Suitland. And that's gonna be, we got the crab truck and the DJ and the moon bounce, and we're doing it pretty big over there. That's the first push. And then we'll move all over the county. We're pushing people to vote. And if I can get Miriam Bowser on board, I'm gonna move all over DC. Pushing people to vote and registering them to vote. On April the 10th, we are giving away free Easter baskets, because last year we gave away 150 Easter baskets where they drive up and kids get free Easter baskets. Everybody can't afford to give away to get a basket. And last year we had people crying because we gave them baskets. Because everybody can't get baskets. So those are some of the things we have going on. We have some other things going on, and we'll keep everybody in the loop. We ask everybody to keep up with PG Changemakers and GOTV. I'm also doing our first debate team. And that's where I'll have people that are running for different offices. You have to stand up in front of your constituents or your opponents, and the residents will get to ask you questions. I will give out the topics and the residents will throw the questions at you. And you don't have time to, we don't give you the topics. You don't have time to discuss the topics. You don't have time to study the topics. Because if I ask you, how do you feel about school? Or how do you feel about the kids being in mask? And you got to take about 30 minutes to think about it, you don't need to be in office. So we don't give you time to study them. You got to come prepared. And then you'll learn the topics when you arrive. So we do that in every municipality. So you know, and the residents will get to learn who's running, who's meaning to run, or who just put their name on the ballot to have a title. So we'll do that in each municipality, and I'll start doing that as soon as everybody's names are on the ballot. So it will be flyers going out, so everybody stay tuned.
Thank you for that. Fantastic. And I also want to make sure when you meet with Mayor Bowser, let her know that in her city, well, in our city at MGM and in Maryland, but near her city, on April the 23rd, We Model USA is going to be hosting a modeling extravaganza, but it combats human trafficking. And Patricia Watts actually just spoke to me last week about reaching out to Mayor Bowser and seeing if she would be in the place. And it's at the MGM at the Grand Ballroom on April 23rd. So I sent you the link. Each lady, I sent you a link there in our chat box there. Please take a look at that. And when you go and speak with her, it would be a great honor to have her there. Because we really want to bring some attention to that in our communities. We're anticipating having CNN coverage there. We're anticipating having, local news coverage. We talked to the Essence magazine about doing a spread, if you will. But the women that are walking, one of which will be my daughter. My daughter, many of you know, is an aspiring young model and actress. And so she was honored to have this opportunity as well as one of their young models to walk during We Model USA.
Can you do me a favor, Mayor Cross? I'm really not savvy with remembering what's in here. Can you kind of text it to my personal phone so I'll have it? Because I'm going to do it. If anybody else on the call that have anything specific you would like for me to bring up to Miriam Bowser at that meeting on Saturday. Because if I can cover some ground for us that would enhance you or help you in any way, please send it to me in a text. Dr. Fields, if you need my number, I don't mind giving it to you. It's 301-379-2491. And that's Jeanette. Well, where in the world is you going with that hat on? I'm sorry.
So I'm going to tell you also, I've got another opportunity when you go and meet with Mayor Bowser. She actually has another unit that's in her area, near her area. And she wrote a proclamation for its inaugural. This is the Mr. DC. It is a pageant for men. Essentially, it is a community service recognition. The competitors actually do have a talent. They do take an on-stage question. They have to actually walk the walk and talk the talk. So it is actually come about by Dr. Gloria Crossland. She is, if you will, the executive director for Mr. DC pageant. And this is essentially bringing a different light, if you will, on what men in our communities are offering as far as community service and help as well. So again, I know this is Women's History Month, but Dr. Gloria Crossling is a massive woman. She is Miss Virginia World. So she is created this opportunity. So this is one I want to make sure that you take to Mayor Bowser as well. Because each one of these are about changing our community, changing how we look at our young men, many of which were young Black men. You know, the value that they will have in this community is great. Service organizations, you know, that they're leading, if you will. So thank you for that. So I don't want to keep us any longer. I think we've met our time. We have our scripture on this evening. I think it turned out very well. And I do want to thank you so much, each and every one, for your encouragement, for your words of wisdom. Accountability is a necessity when it comes down to what we are doing here. You know, we are going to be engaged by the sin of this world. We're going to have, you know, the devil will come against us with every hand, but it is accountability. And that's what we've created here. This circle of friends now is an accountability to continue to strive, to continue along that mission, to not give up. And that's really what we want to make sure is pushed in the atmosphere, that we do not quit, we do not give up. We will open our mouths with wisdom, and we will teach with kindness always on our tongues, because we know that there is an aspect of this world that is unfortunately come under attack. Prayer changes things. I will tell you that if you aren't in an intercessory group, get in one, because it's about to get hot in here. Life is getting wicked, and we are praying for each and every one. This is a great necessity that we fellowship to enhance God's relationship with each other and also with us and the Father. We have to fellowship together, because as we carry on with our daily lives, it's so easy to get lost in the noise of life. The noise of life can be so loud that it drowns out the very life that is trying to live. And that's something that we want to make sure it never, ever happens, that we will have peace in our time, that we will have growth and strength in our communities, and that we will save the generation that's coming, generations behind us. And I'm talking that 10 to 30-year-old generation. That's the fight. That's the fight. Women and men, that's the fight. We are bringing forth hope and ingenuitive ways to include our seniors into society as well, because I believe that, you know, a lot of what we had is because we had a praying grandmother. You know, we had seniors in our community that, you know, you didn't dare to do wrong around, you know, Sister Sharon's house, because Sister Sharon was going to call your mama. First, she's going to call your grandmama, who's going to call your mother. So, I mean, you know, it really is, I won't say it's a dying art, but it is something that we need to rebirth in society, that we are each other's keeper, and that we demand the love of our community, and that our children see us pushing that out, because what we push out, we get back triple fold. And I do believe that. So I will go around the horn here for some final words before we close out. Again, it has been my honor, and I thank you so much for your time, your commitment this evening with us. Dr. Fields, I have you up first on the screen, so I'll go to you.
Okay, so it's pretty much just to piggyback off of what you just said, you know, about not giving up. As we celebrate Women's History Month, right, we've come a long way. Not because we quiver, not because we panic, not because we put ourselves in a box, but because we no longer decide to sit on the sidelines. We got in the game. This is why we are where we are today. So we must continue to run the race. We must continue to push. Resilience is key, and we just got to make sure that we remind ourselves about that resilience is key. Nothing good is ever going to come easy. We're going to have to work, we're going to have to put in the work, and we're going to have to put in the work some more. My favorite thing that I used to say, that I like to say on my weekly broadcast, It takes both rain and sunshine to build a rainbow. That is it from me tonight.
Of that. And Miss Woods?
You will call me while I'm eating Annihilator.
Back in the day, can't.
That's right.
It's at the
DMG.
25-cent pack.
Got about 5 of them today.
Watermelon.
Green apple was fine.
That's what I have: green apple, grape, and cherry.
Fantastic.
So yeah, I agree with Dr. Fields as well. What we focus on is unity, and I also agree with you, Mayor Cross. Today was interesting because when we got on this call, we knew Dr. Fields, we just didn't know we knew her. You know, so to make the connection, and I have to say my heart is just like crazy overwhelmed because when we were looking for office space, we were going to go into a building where Kitchen Cray was. And so we were like, oh, yeah, we're going to take this just because Kitchen Cray is in the same building. And I told Miss Hewitt, we might come in here, but in 5 years, we're going to be waddling out. We can't do that. But interestingly enough, and I told her they're going to charge so much because they're here. We went looking somewhere else, and we found a place that we could build up ourselves. And when we did that, we looked at the office space and just the opportunity to help and bless other people. And so when you said there were some things you needed, me and Miss Hewitt, I asked Miss Hewitt yesterday, I said, you know, I'm participating with the food drive. Is it okay if we could be a site? And she looks at me. She said, why do you ask me that? We had this discussion some time ago. You know, and I told her, you're ANEW CARE. So I don't ever want to make a decision without the partnership. You understand what I'm saying? And so I say all that to say, I appreciate this group of women. Jeanette is also a woman I just met just in January, but the cohesiveness has been amazing. And I'm an outreach girl. I'm going out to the streets, whether it's for Mayor Bowser, Jeanette, or whatever. I'm gonna be out there because we have to get the word out there. We still do work together, and we work together well.
Yes. Yes, we do. Thank you so much, Darlene. Now, Miss Hewitt.
I think the adage is we're around women that are fighters. And again, I'm gonna date myself because my mom and grandmama used to say, you know what, you just gotta stand flat foot and fight. You gotta stand flat foot and do what you gotta do. So that's there's a stigma against the mental health. There's a stigma against all that is right and correct. And we gotta stand flat foot and fight for it. And that's my mantra for today.
Stand flat foot and fight for it.
Flat foot and fight.
Fantastic. And now we'll round it off with the queen herself, a diva walking in God's authority.
Oh, hail the
Miss
queen.
Jeanette.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, I got my grandson now, so he's a whole lot going on in here. But you're right, and that I don't know if y'all can see my shirt, but it says "Stand with Black Women." That's one of the shirts that we wore for last year, and that did Mayor Cross. I gave her wait. I gave her that phrase, I think it was maybe a couple of nights ago, because that was a phrase that God gave me last year when I was going through HE double hockey sticks with so many people. And he spoke to me and said, I was a diva, authorized diva, walking in God's authority. And when I'm walking in God's authority, it don't matter to me what nobody else thinks, say, whatever. I'm authorized to be a diva. And as long as I'm authorized to be a diva, I'm going to be a diva against the odds. And I just want to say one thing to you guys. I am a stroke survivor. They lost me on the bed. Told my children I was a goner, but God saw something, saw a reason to keep me here, because he still had to work for me. Yeah. I heard Darlene speak about domestic violence. I'm a domestic violence survivor. I'm a child molestation and rape survivor, but God put me through all those things to bring me right back here. I didn't want to go through those things, but he already had a plan worked out for me. And today I stand, I'm going to fight, and I'm going to be heard, my voice. And when I'm on this call with you ladies, you women, you powerful Black women, I don't have a reason but to fight. When I stand beside somebody like Crystal Orieva and the PG Changemakers, I have no reason but to fight. And as long as y'all fight, y'all give me more energy to fight. When I look at my 4-year-old grandson standing here and his mom that just left out of here, and I'm watching him so she can go to work and fight, I'm going to fight. I'm on the phone, ma'am. I'm about to fight her now if she don't leave me alone. I'm just kidding. But she's about sorry. But I'm proud of mine. And I want to share one thing with you guys and I'm done. And Darlene knows it because I've shared it with her. And maybe Mayor Cross, little boy, get off my table. 3 years ago, and I'm going to try to say this without tears. 3 years ago, I went out of town to bury my aunt, who was like my mom. And I was supposed to come back home that Monday morning. That Sunday night at 3 in the morning, they called me to tell me that my son had gotten shot and that they didn't think he was going to make it. Matter of fact, they really felt he won't go make it. The doctor had came out the room and told my kids, he's not going to make it. I was 4.5 hours away. I had to come up the highway with nothing but prayer. Prayer warriors praying all the way up the highway. I walked in that room, everybody waited for me to fall out, pass out, and fail. But the God I serve had already told me I got it. I walked in the room. He was on life support. I whispered in his ear and I said, no, son. This means war. This don't mean give up. It means war. We're going to fight this battle till we can't fight no more. My son had to learn how to walk. He had to learn how to speak. He lived on the 4th floor. We had to get him up and down the steps. He came home with a bag. He was in a go-go band. And that's all his dream. He sings, plays drums, keyboard. That's his life. The guys that did the killing was his friends who did the shooting. And I go to church with their family. And I didn't understand. All I wanted was revenge. But God gave me peace. 2 months ago, he came into church and whispered in my ear and said, let it go. It ain't for you. It ain't your battle. And I shared that with Mayor Cross and I told her to let it go. Stand, ain't her battle. And I shared that tonight to tell y'all, whatever we going through, that call that came through tonight, it ain't our battle. This whole war thing ain't our battle. But I see my son walking on that stage, driving and moving. When the devil said he was never gonna walk again, it ain't a battle. And if he can do it for that boy, he can do it for anybody on this call. Anybody. And I share that testimony everywhere I go, whether people get tired of hearing it or not. I share it because that's the piece that keeps me moving. That's the piece that keeps me fighting. And I share it. And when I take it up to the time for everybody, I am sorry, but that's what I share because that's what keeps me going. It keeps my light shining. So when I say I'm an authorized diva, that's what I mean. God authorized me to be that diva when he gave me that strength to fight for my child. So y'all keep praying and keep praying for me because I'm going to keep praying for y'all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. And we love you. We love you. We love your family. And you keep sharing your story because, you know, the funny thing about it is that's what the devil wants. He wants us to be quiet. He wants us to suffer in silence. And, you know, I speak to Dr. Fields and her work. It's suffering in silence. That's what her work is. You know, if I speak to Ms. Hewitt, that's her work, teaching you how not to suffer in silence. You know, making a way with, you know, DSW and Associates, opening the door, speaking out, Miss Brandon, Jeanette, that's what you do is you speak out for those that don't speak for themselves. If I look at this panel of exceptional women, that's what we're talking about, is today we say no more. We stand with a commitment, we stand with the momentum to address the various crises that is happening in our communities. We won't be ignoring it any longer. It is now taking center stage. It has now taken center stage. We are looking at healthcare, and we are looking at the crises that's mental health and illnesses that are going on in our community that has been quiet for so long, exacerbated by, you know, the abstinence of COVID-19. So we are not taking it anymore. We are standing up. And that's what makes this such a beautiful forum tonight, is that we have chosen to make this time commitment to bring forth the intercession that's necessary in our community. You know, and I speak a lot about Christ, and maybe people aren't so Christ-like, but I do believe in intercessors. I believe that each one of us are interceding at just the right time. So there is a calling on each of our lives, and we must do that. There is nothing else, and you want God to ride you until you do it. So I want to applaud each of you heroes, sheroes, as we call them, for what you're doing in our communities. Failure is not an option. Hope is the only option. Hope and a commitment to fight, the will to continue to discover, to pray for our brothers and our sisters, that we will build a personal commitment to strive to be better. In humbleness, we bring forth peace. We bring forth this fellowship that's necessary to begin listening attentively, to be our brothers' ministers and keepers, that we shall be available to grow the relationships necessary to make our communities great. We have a beautiful people, and it is time for us to stand up for what is spiritually growing out there, stand against the ill that's out there, and stand up with the believers, like the women on this call, to make life better for the generations to come. I appreciate you. I thank you for this evening call. And I'm Mayor Cross from the city of Glenarden, and it has been my indeed honor to serve with you today. We do, in LaTasha Ward in her absence, acknowledge the founder, executive director of the Solid Foundation. We acknowledge Darlene S. Wood, the executive director and founder of DSW Associates Community Engagement. We acknowledge Dr. Joan Henry-Fields, the founder and CEO, Integrity and Honesty at Every Level, the RESA organization. We acknowledge Jeanette Brandon of PG Changemakers. Thank you, ladies, for making this evening a success. And I look forward to more work on the ground, women changing our communities at the grassroots levels. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.